Hi Lee, very good to have you with us.
And
Lee's going to do the first of a series of 5-minute conversations with me, which I'm very much looking forward to, so big thank you to you, Lee, for coming. Lee, I've got 3 questions for you. First of which is, could you tell us why is search important to PR people?
Sure. Well, I think the biggest impact it has is understanding audiences and journalists, analysts, bloggers, and consumers who all can be part of a target audience for news content are using search. They're using search to not just discover things at random or things they're casually interested in, but looking for very specific things. Doing research on a particular company, looking for subject matter experts, looking for different types of media to include with a story. There's lots of different things that are very, very useful for someone in the business of creating content where search is an effective tool. So the problem is that a lot of news content is simply written for human beings. There are metaphors, puns, irony, that sort of thing, which doesn't really make sense to a search engine. And so writing just for people is great when you can hand deliver the content to someone that's looking, but when it comes to going to google.com or Bing and someone typing a search, it's very important for folks that are in the news creation, content creation business, including public relations folks, to know how to optimize that content for the keywords that their target audience is actually searching on. Most of the work that we're involved with has to do with trying to create compelling stories that are also optimized. And it's tough. It's tough to do that. There is different, if your release is online and you're expecting journalists and bloggers and analysts and whoever to find that release online for the purpose of a pickup or a media hit, if you will, and at the same time you would like to get some SEO benefit from distributing that press release online, then in that case you might have a couple of different releases where in the release for media we're being clever, we're using puns, we're more creative in our writing. With the search engine focused press release, we're being a little more literal, and our keyword positioning is such that it might not be quite as compelling, but like I said, what we focus on is being able to hit both with the same document whenever possible.
Okay. And obviously Bing came from nowhere a couple of years ago, and there are many technologies and new groups that seem to be starting, so Google+, Pinterest, all of these new marketing technologies. How should a PR person make sense of these?
There's something that's happening with a lot of folks in all over, regardless of industry, and that is shiny object syndrome. They're chasing after this and chasing after this. Oh, Google+ and Pinterest and Path and whatever, there's so many different social technologies out there. It's really hard for people, especially those that don't have a network that comes with them, to make sense of which one they should spend their time on. So the advice that I like to give, is for organizations to, as you've done, I think you've created a social media task force and allocated a little bit of time across a number of different people. So it's like, you spend time on media, like images and video applications. You spend time on social networks. You spend time on this. Just a little bit of time, and they report to each other. So they're spending a small amount of time across a good number of people identifying different types of technologies and maybe even doing reviews internally. So that task force can make some sense out of, look, based on our experience, that application has characteristics in terms of its functionality and the people that are using it that warrant its inclusion in our mix of tools that we use for our own external social media communications.
So now I'd like to go back to the first question I asked you, but to turn it on its head. So originally I asked you why is search important to PR people, but what if we turn that around? Why is PR important to search?
It's a really good question. It's funny, when I go to search conferences, I'm a PR guy oftentimes, and when I go to PR conferences, I'm a search guy.
Right.
And it's amazing. So a big part of optimization, it has to do with links, right? Links, whether they're coming from one page to another, from a newspaper website to a company site, or a socially shared link. They're incredibly important signals with which search engines use to determine what's authoritative, and it even comes down to meaning. So if the blue underlined text is red widget and it links to my page about red widgets, well, that tells the search engine I'm getting a vote. Kind of like if I say you're a really great guy, then whoever I said that to is going to automatically assume that you're a really great guy. Of course, it helps if I'm a great guy too. So that kind of inference is very important algorithmically with search engines. And so what's important about PR, for SEOs to know about PR, is that PR, media relations, that ability to identify a story and get that story told and inserted to run, so to speak, can result in a link. And it's incredibly valuable. In fact, the most valuable links you can get are those editorial links that come from major news publications. Yeah. So how I got into this business a little bit is I noticed how our company switched from being a PR firm to being more a search-focused firm, is that I noticed that clients we were only doing media relations for were going up in search visibility. And I was a search guy at a PR firm. And I noticed this, I was like, why is that happening? Analyzing links, I noticed, and this is a long time ago, and I started to notice that, wow, look at these links that are happening as a result of media relations are actually increasing search visibility. So the people that are executing media relations tasks are some of the most powerful, talented link builders that SEOs covet without even knowing it. And so that's a big reason why having public relations skill sets are incredibly useful for SEOs.
Yeah. So, Lee, I think our 5 minutes are up. It's been great talking to you. I've had the benefit of meeting Lee over the last probably 5 years, where I've had him talk at conferences, particularly in the United States, and it's always fascinating, and appreciate you,
Thank you for
taking the time to talk to us. But before we go, I want to just talk quickly about your book that you've got coming up. It's called Optimize, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
It's more information at optimizebook.com, is that right? I mean, over to you, Lee. Tell us
Yeah.
quickly about your book, where we can find out more about it, and perhaps where we can buy it as well.
Absolutely. Definitely you can go to optimizebook.com, and there's previews of the book there. There's things you can download. There's interviews that I'm doing with different brand folks about how they're optimizing the way they do marketing and communications. Rather than just being a book about SEO and keywords and rankings and that sort of thing, which is a bit superficial, we're talking in the book, or I'm talking in the book, about optimizing for customers. Right? The other thing that's unique about this book is that it's not just about marketing. It takes a specific approach towards public relations, also content that's published by customer service, published by human resources and recruiting, because there's many different reasons why people search. So it takes a more holistic approach, and it's something that's been endorsed by folks at Ford, at Walmart, lots of other brands like that. Chris Brogan, Ann Hanley, Joe Paluzzi, I mean, it's really been well received, and it hasn't even come out yet. So, optimizebook.com.
Brilliant. Well, I know I'll be buying a copy. Thank you so much.